Hello people of the internet, my name is Dan and welcome to My Kitchen Table, a place where I'm normally found boring my friends and family about movies, and today you can be bored by me too. Woo! So we're several weeks into 2019, it's already underway, but we can't let go of last year until I talked about my favourite movies. 2018 has been a divisive year. It's been great for some people, and it's been awful for just as many more. We had it all. Internet data scandals, a royal wedding, incredible rescues, promises of denuclearisation, and football coming home. Nearly. It's had its ups, it's had its downs, it's had its many challenges, but I've made some incredible new friends this year. I've made short films with many more to come. And after an incredible summer with these two idiots, I feel like I've kind of made a lot of progress in getting to know myself and being comfortable with the way I am. But you're not here to listen to me talk about my personal issues and nobody really cares, not even myself, so let's talk about what's really important here. Movies. Yes, 2018 has been another incredible year for movies. The superhero genre has continued to prove itself to be an unstoppable beast, including the behemoth that was Avengers Infinity War dominating box offices. It's a cool word, behemoth. I'm going to use that more. Oh, the washing machine's just come on, that's good. We've had some interesting animations, we've had some successful, long-awaited sequels, and we've also had a really good Transformers movie. I'm still in shock. We've also had some really cool Netflix original films, and also, and this is going to go down in cinematic history, The Meg came out this year. Yep, that's a thing that happened. You didn't dream that. Would have been more like a nightmare. So just like my incredibly successful video from last year, I'm going to be counting down my top 10 films of 2018. These are based on the release date according to Wikipedia and IMDb and Letterboxd and whatnot. Obviously I haven't gotten to see everything that I want to see this year, you know, I'm just one man. And also here in the UK we don't get a lot of films until early 2019, so I've got quite a bit of catching up to do this month. But my aim this year, well, last year, was to see kind of as many different films as I can and kind of broaden my horizons, and I think I've got a bit of a varied mix here to talk about. So without further ado, here goes. At number 10, A Quiet Place. A Quiet Place was a big success when it came out. It was nice to see an interesting horror story, especially from John Krasinski. He's great, and he did a great job directing this. Emily Blunt is great as well. The two of them work really well together. They've got great chemistry, obviously, because they're married. This was a pretty disturbing, unsettling film. I'm not sure how original the concept was, I didn't really think of it before, but I really liked where they took it. It's very graphic, it has some scares in it, it was a very effective horror film. There are quite a few moments where you're watching it and you think, that doesn't really make much sense, but okay, I'll go with it. It has its flaws, but I think just for the portrayals and the direction alone, it's worth a watch. I thought the younger actors did a good job as well. The kind of family unit that they do works really well, and it makes it kind of more emotional seeing just a regular family going through this horrible, situation. It's not one I've got much to say on, but I just thought it was a really enjoyable experience. I say enjoyable, it wasn't, it was disturbing, but it was a really good film, is what I mean. Does that make sense? At number 9, Suspiria. This is a bit of a weird one because it had a very limited release and the critical reception was kind of mixed. But to be honest, I wasn't expecting to love it as much as I did, but it just was great. I mean, make no mistake, this is very much a Suspiria remake in name only. It shares that same very basic premise as Dario Argento's 1977 film, but Luca Guadagnino, the director, kind of takes it in this whole new different direction that I wasn't anticipating, and I just really loved that. I am a fan of the original film, but that's mostly due to its kind of visual flair. I like the colours and the lighting and the soundtrack by Goblin. But I always felt that it was kind of lacking from a story perspective. Don't get me wrong, it's a great film, but I feel like this one kind of took what it was lacking in the story department and expanded on it so much more in a way that personally I found to be very interesting. It just kind of sacrificed that visual flair that made the original one so famous and unique. It does have its own aesthetic, this one. It's got like this kind of 70s vibe, with the muted colours and long takes and zoom-ins and things. I feel that works better in this adaptation. It's very much a film that's less wacky than the original. It takes itself a lot more seriously. Mark Kermode, who is a critic I really value, the washing machine's back on. Mark Kermode, who is a critic I really value the opinion of, wasn't a fan of the way this political undertones worked into it. It's kind of set against like these historical events, which obviously adds a lot more. I kind of agree that it is a bit overstuffed. There is a lot going on in this film. It does overstay its welcome just a tad. Its running time is very long. I went to see it with Sonny and Pete, and about 3 hours in when the word epilogue appears, I just saw Sonny out the corner of my eye, just about to burst into tears, and then it was still going. But even though there was a bit too much going on, they could have kind of drawn back on it. I felt like overall it worked a lot better for me. I found the story itself to be more interesting. I liked how it took a very basic concept and expanded upon it in this new way and gave it a very distinct feeling. That's the thing about the two films. The story is essentially the same, but they feel like very different films. I still, months later, haven't decided which one I prefer, and I think I've got enough to say about them that I'd quite like to make just a whole video dedicated to analysing the two of them. I'm just waiting to rewatch the new one. Even though at times it can feel like it's just a bit too much, personally it just worked for me as a film and I really, really enjoyed it. And number 8, A Star Is Born. This wasn't one I was planning to go and see. I got a ticket for free, and so I just kind of on impulse decided to go and watch it by myself. I didn't really know anything about it. I hadn't seen any trailers, I hadn't read any plot descriptions, and I'd never seen any of the old Star Is Born films. But I just went to see it randomly and I was really impressed. Bradley Cooper did a fantastic job with his directorial debut, and his performance is also great, his music is great as well. Likewise, Lady Gaga, I've never really followed her, so again, I didn't really know what to expect, but her performance was really great too. I think both of them just worked really well together, their chemistry was really good. Of course, the music was excellent as well, which is always important for a film like this. The opening song, Black Eyes in particular, and that whole opening sequence at a festival, which I believe was shot at Glastonbury, that just was immediately a fantastic hook that drew me in and really impressed me with its style. A few weeks later I tried to watch the 70s version that's on Netflix with Barbra Streisand, and the opening of that is just so dull and lifeless, it just didn't compare, and I turned it off after about 20 minutes. But watching these two characters kind of interact with each other and grow and expand as people throughout the film was really good, and kind of the emotional beats really were shocking. It deals with a lot of serious themes here, you know, alcoholism and what success does to you. I just think they were handled really well. I saw it by myself, like I said. When the lights went up afterwards, I just looked around, there was just like loads of people crying, and I was just sat by myself, and this is a very surreal experience. It did raise an interesting concept about Lady Gaga's character, about how she could be like selling out now that she's found success. But they didn't really follow that, and that was my only kind of disappointment in this film. I think that was a lot that could have been done with that, and a very interesting concept, and they just kind of left it there. But, you know, overall this was a surprise for me. I really enjoyed it, and it is still playing in cinemas now, so it was clearly, you know, a very big success, word of mouth, Greatest Showman style, and I'm glad it is, it deserves it. At number 7, Annihilation. Alex Garland's career has been great in the sci-fi kind of community. From writing Danny Boyle's films to his directorial debut Ex Machina. That was great, I loved that, and I was very excited when I heard about Annihilation. He's got a massive cast here, and they work really well together. I really like Tessa Thompson's character in particular. I'd say this one's a lot more cognitive than Ex Machina. I'm not sure I enjoyed it quite as much, but I feel like it really is a great piece of work nevertheless. It's disappointing it didn't get a theatrical release here, it was only on Netflix, but like I said, I think he did a really good job with this one. It's very much one of those films that you watch and just kind of the whole way through you're like, what? But you know, the concept of the shimmer was interesting, the kind of ambiguous conclusion is interesting. And like I said, this cast is great, it's quite disturbing in moments too. There's kind of this moment of a screaming bear, and also a bit where somebody gets cut open and you see all these tentacles and stuff. The effects are good, that's another thing. I was really impressed with this one. I need to go back to actually, because obviously I saw it towards the start of last year, so I can't really remember that much about it, but it is a very well made film, and I'm glad to see that Alex Garland is still, you know, making successful sci-fi, and I'd like to see what comes from him next, because he's just been going from hit to hit. Number 6, Isle of Dogs. I've been watching a lot of Wes Anderson this year because I'm becoming a bit of a basic hipster. I was really looking forward to Isle of Dogs as well. Unfortunately, I missed the cinema release. I was busy with university at the time, so I had to wait for it to hit home media, but when I eventually saw it, I wasn't disappointed. It has that same charm and humour you expect from Wes Anderson at this point, and of course the framing and the symmetry and everything, it was all perfect. The characters are sweet and the voice cast is, incredible. But my favourite thing about this was the animation, that stop motion, it's so intricate and detailed. You can tell just by looking at it the amount of love and effort and attention that went into the making of this film. And it really kind of adds to that charm that it gives off. Personally, I was disappointed in the ending. It felt like it was a bit too quick for me. But overall, I feel like the journey the film takes you on, the locations, the designs, it just was so well crafted. Number 5. So, Alfonso Cuarón's first film, after quite a long gap, hit Netflix recently and was instantly popular within film circles, and rightly so. The film looks beautiful, the cinematography and the camera style is excellent, the way it uses these slow pans to slowly reveal more information to the viewer. It was just a very well crafted film, and like Isle of Dogs, you can tell a lot of effort and attention went into each shot. Story-wise, I was very invested in the character of Cleo, her plight in the film. I had an emotional response to that, but I felt for a bit it's very much a slow burn of a film. So that was kind of why I didn't feel this as much as everybody else did. But once that third act comes along, it's very fast-paced. Then it's very emotional and raw and powerful, and I spent the last third of this film on the edge of my seat, just watching it like this, because it hits you so hard. So once it gets going, it's very powerful, it's very impactful, and it feels like an experience rather than just any old film. I'm not sure how popular this film has been with the general Netflix audience. I haven't heard that many people talking about it really, because it was kind of overshadowed by Bandersnatch and Bird Box. And it's very much a film for losers like me. Like I said, it's like an experience. It's a lot of the interest in it comes from the camera style and the sound design. But I think it works very well. It did have a bit of a marketing push. It did keep coming up on my Netflix film, but I feel like it might have been a bit too insular to kind of be widely popular. But for me personally, if Netflix continue to put out content like this, I will be there every time. At number 4, Avengers Infinity War. Yeah, of course this one's on here. I mean, it was gigantic. I was thrilled that this was good, because we've been waiting for this for years, and I was very, very scared that it was just going to be crap. Seeing all these characters finally coming together and seeing Thanos taking centre stage, it was very satisfying to watch. It took a more serious tone. It still had a lot of one-liners, it's Marvel, what do you expect? But, it took a lot of surprises. I liked the way that it made Thanos the central character. And that ending, obviously, was just a massive surprise, really. Well, it wasn't really a surprise for me because I'd read the comics, but I wasn't 100% sure that they were going to go through with this. And I'm glad that they are. Two-parter things obviously really worked well for them, where it's not for Divergent or Hunger Games. Endgame, everybody's already super excited for it, and it's going to probably break all of the records Infinity War did. Basically, you've probably seen it, let's be honest, so it's difficult to talk about this film without spoiling it, so I'm going to try and avoid it and just say, if you're a fan of Marvel, it's fantastic. I don't think it will stand up that well by itself, but just as this kind of massive satisfying conclusion, it's everything a fan could want. I'm just impressed they managed to take all of these different elements and put them all together and it not be a mess. So congratulations Russos, you did a fantastic job, and I'm just so excited to see where it goes from here. At number 3, First Man. From the minute I heard that Damien Chazelle was making a film about space and with Ryan Gosling, I knew I had to see it. Chazelle's been one of my favourite directors in recent memory, and Gosling is my favourite actor, and I'm just a massive nerd about space. Basically, this film was a match made in heaven for me. I liked that it was more of a focus on Neil Armstrong. Obviously it's a biopic, but it wasn't as much to do with the moon as it was about him. It was like a true biopic that looked at a person and who he was and what made him who he was, rather than focus solely on this one mission that made him famous. It was more about the impact that mission had on him and his family, and that was just really interesting for me. Obviously, the moon stuff is great and it's shot fantastically. The whole film is shot fantastically. It's very grainy, so it's clearly shot on film, and it really gets down to like the nuts and bolts of what makes space travel possible. It feels very claustrophobic throughout. It makes you're watching it and just thinking, how the hell was this possible? How the hell did we manage to send people in the 60s to the moon and back in a tin can with a bunch of rocket fuel on the bottom? It's just incredible to think about. It's such a great achievement. I saw it in IMAX as well, which just made the experience even better. And I was just, I just loved this film's take on space exploration. I've seen a lot of films like this, and just like I said, the way this one really gets you about that kind of claustrophobic, real raw sense of the thing. It just worked fantastically. Gosling's performance is amazing, the direction's amazing. Basically, it's great. And number 2, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Look, it's little Miles. Yay. Shit, it spelled. So, Spider-Verse. I am so in love with this film. Everything from the animation, to the designs, to the characters, to the story, to the humour, to the soundtrack. It's just perfect. The comic book style is just so well done and creative, and it just allows for all these unique visual effects. I'm amazed it's never really been done on this scale before. I can't exaggerate how spectacular this film is. Yes, that pun's intended, please bring back that TV show. It understood the character of Spider-Man to a T, and reminded you that anybody could be behind the mask. If you know me, or even if you just saw 2017's top 10 video where I talk about Homecoming, I'm very much a fan of Spider-Man. That character was very important to me, and is very important to me, the relatable aspect of him. So seeing all these different interpretations of Spider-Man come together, but still having that same vital inner drive, was really special for me to see. Especially in the year that we lost both Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. It's the reminder of, his Spider-Man's origins as that relatable teen hero that was really important. It works fantastic as just a comedy as well. The writers clearly knew their audience very well. The meta humour about past Spider-Man films and comics, it was just fantastic. And combining that with the animation as well, just some great visual gags. Basically, it just seemed like a project that had a lot of heart going into it, and it shows. Even if it's from the same studio that brought us Venom this year. I've only seen bits of that, and it's just... no. Good thing it didn't do very well, and that'll be the last we hear of it, and there won't be a sequel. It literally ends with Woody Harrelson in a Ronald McDonald wig. You can't build a villain off of that. So going back to Spider-Verse, basically, it's just an amazing, spectacular web of film. It understood Spider-Man perfectly, and the message behind him or her or Pig. And just go and see it, support it. Also stay to the end. It's probably tied with Wreck-It Ralph 2 for the best post-credit sequence of this year. And at number 1, drum roll. This is a glass table, and that kind of hurt. So, my favourite film of 2018 that I've seen, BlacKkKlansman. I was immediately excited by this film's premise. I first heard about this shortly after seeing Do the Right Thing at university, and I was only vaguely familiar with Spike Lee's work, but I went to see it and I really enjoyed it. John David Washington and Adam Driver are excellent in their respective roles. The way they play off of each other, and also they play off of the white supremacists in the film, makes some really great comic moments, but some really harrowing moments as well. That's what impressed me the most about this film. It managed to kind of balance the comedy and this serious political message. The epilogue is very, very powerful, and every time I've seen it, the cinema just empties out in silence. It's just, I've never heard it so quiet, so it obviously had that intended impact. The cast and setting are great, obviously, and I love the editing style. It's very stylish. The cast and the settings are great, the 70s vibe behind it, the music's good. The editing as well is very nice, it's a very stylish film. So like I said, it's a very entertaining film, but it's also got this really important message that's scarily relevant to today's society. So yeah, there we have it, 2018 in a nutshell, 10 films, boom. Like I said, we had some really interesting releases. I got to see a lot of unusual things. 2019 itself looks like a very good year for films, looking at some of the releases on here. Get Endgame, obviously, Captain Marvel and Spider-Man as well. I'm excited for all of those because I'm a basic Marvel fanboy. New Star Wars as well. I'm waiting for the first trailer of that. Last Jedi didn't fill me with much anticipation, but we'll see. I'll see it anyway, let's be honest. We've got a lot of Disney remakes, which I'm not sure what to think about yet. Aladdin, Dumbo, Lion King, we've got Toy Story 4, X-Men. It's a lot of things that don't think I'm that interested in, to be honest, but I'll probably see them anyway to see how they go. We've got the sequel to It, which I'm looking forward to. The original was great. Say the original, I mean the one from a few years ago. Godzilla, King of Monsters, I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be good, I reckon. Lego Movie 2, that might be interesting. Detective Pikachu, that will be unusual. Men in Black International, I'm looking forward to that, to see Tessa Thompson and Chris Hemsworth together again. They're great. Joaquin Phoenix's Joker film, Rocket Man. We've got some really interesting things this year, but a lot of sequels and remakes, and apparently a Sonic the Hedgehog film, so we'll see how that goes. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope you will join me again in a year's time to see my 2019 list. If you don't have it, I would recommend downloading an app called Letterboxd. You can just use it to log films, and you can also follow me. Just find me just by searching either Dan Searle or Novanaut, and you can see the films I'm watching through this year. I'll upload reviews onto there, and just you'll get to see how I'm feeling about films. Like, for example, I've been making a list of 2018 films, so if you want, you can go check that out. You'll see all of the films that were under the top 10, you'll see my bottom 10 films of the year if you want. I'm not being paid to advertise this, by the way, I just really enjoy the website. It's built for sad film people like me, so it's perfect. So yeah, thanks again for watching, I hope you enjoyed it. I'm hoping to up the content for this year. I'm thinking about doing a series of videos like this talking about movies I've seen every month. Just let me know in the comments what you want to see, and I will be back soon with some more content, hopefully. So thanks again for watching, see you next time. I've been Dan Novanaut, and goodbye.